Yeah.
I love you. She walked into our church. She sat in this row right over here. You can't see it because we're... She had a blanket around her. And she was just crying. And I was sitting up here and I looked over and I said, God, whatever she's facing and going through, just help her tonight.
Yes, God.
Help her.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I couldn't see anything. She was wrapped up in a blanket. I could see nothing. But this young lady, I love you. And I'm proud of you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Amen.
She's going
Absolutely.
to share her setback. But she's also going to share her comeback.
Come on
Amen.
now. Come on now.
Noemi? Are you doing that yet or no?
Oh, I didn't know.
No, you're fine. Not yet. Okay. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. You need me for anything? Okay. Of course you do. You always need me.
Well, my name is Noemi. November 22nd, 2020 was the day my life changed forever and for better, though I thought it was for worse. Prior to my accident, my life was all about work. You can say I was a workaholic, which I know now. That was a problem. I spent a lot of my free time with friends. A beer and cigarettes was always a must to have at all times after work, and as I drove anywhere. Not to get drunk, just as comfort. I tried multiple times to detach myself from cigarettes, and I did a few times, but ended up falling back. I used to smoke up to a pack a day sometimes. Drinking was just a little different. At times I drink a lot and finish my beer, and at times I just leave my cans almost full. The week of my accident, as for what I remember, I was in a weird and depressed mood that could have been caused by the lack of sleep, stress, and so many hours of work that I had been putting in the past 3 weeks. Finally, on November 18, 2020, was my last day of work, and I had 5 days off back to back, taking my first vacation from work after 4 years. On a Wednesday or Thursday, the plans for the weekend ended up changing. That made me feel very bummed out, more than what I already was. Instead of going to a party in Ensenada to celebrate a friend's birthday, now they wanted to go to Vegas. COVID hit, so I didn't want to go to Vegas. So I just stayed behind, sad and devastated. I still wasn't going to plan to go to the party, which was a quinceañera. I just wanted to stay home and rest. I felt that's what God was asking me to do, but I ignored all the signs and feelings.
So good.
The day of the party on November 21st, 2020. The day came and I was still not wanting to attend this party. I woke up early in that morning and got out of bed pretty late. I took a drive to Moreno Valley to have breakfast by myself because the friend I called to invite didn't want to go, which made me feel a little worse. Though all this ugly feeling inside me, I still tried my best to act normal, but I was no longer asking God for strength. I kept feeling put down by everyone for some reason. I went on my own to go eat, went back home, and I straightened my hair. All morning I was contemplating about attending this party. I ended up leaving my house around 1 or 2 in the afternoon. those hosting my party were like family. Was my best friend. She was practically like a mom. I admired her as a mom. So for the sake of her not be upset with me, or for us not to hear her yapping later on, I forced myself to go. The 45-minute drive turned to a 2-hour drive, caused by so much traffic. On the way there, I kept seeing the numbers 666, and I was a bit worried. Through the ceremony, I spoke to God and I asked Him for some strength. I remember I said, Diosito, por favor, ayúdame con estos sentimientos que siento. God, please help me with these emotions I'm feeling. I was very out of it. I was not myself that day. This night I was having some beers, drinks. I remember taking a shot after the ceremony, and that's about it. From what I've been told, I left the party around 2 a.m. My accident was between 2:05 to 2:15, 3 miles from where I attended this event. Moving on to my accident, my recovery, and my belief towards God. I don't have any memory of how my accident was caused, since I don't remember the amount of alcohol taken throughout the night. I can't sit here and say I was blacked out on alcohol. What I can say is that I was very tired. What I can say is that there was alcohol in my system and I was tremendously tired. The weird thing is that there is nowhere in my hospital records that show any alcohol levels in me. My family was there, therefore I know that there was alcohol, and they have mentioned that I was a little, or maybe a lot, pretty drunk. So, but I don't remember, but with things that my family that had been there has told me that I was drunk. From November 22nd to February 5th, 2001, I was hospitalized at Arrowhead Regional Medical Center in the ICU with doctors who are specialized with burns. I was induced into a coma for about 3 weeks. 43 to 45% of my body was burned with 3 to 5 degree burns. A right arm amputation below the elbow, 1 broken rib, a head burn, and my stomach cut open due to the release pressure and to clean out bacteria that was caused due to the severity of the burns around my body. I was woken up from a coma on December 9th, 2020. Do I remember? No. My hospitalization was and continues to be a blur. I remember going through a lot of pain after waking up. I remember crying so much when I was alone due to scary nightmares that I had. I remember so much drama going on that I was so confused about and I had no control over. Though I was a believer in the Lord, I was not a believer as I am today. I don't remember praying to God. I don't remember ever praying to God the way I used to while I was in the hospital bed. I used to ask God for so much strength and for me to be able to go home, for me to return to go to work. I asked for so much forgiveness as I laid in my hospital bed, not only to God but to my dad. I used to say I'm sorry to my dad every single time I would talk to him. Every time my sisters would go, I'd always want them to pray for me before they left. The way God worked in me through the time in the ICU is inexplainable. Nurses and doctors would say and continue to say that the way I was recovering was amazing and fast. When I would go into surgery, I would call my stepmom and I would ask her to pray for me. In February that I was transferred to rehab, I started getting more consciousness, and this is when it finally hit me that my body was burned and my right arm was amputated. I don't remember my first week there, and I don't remember parts of the stay that month and a half that I was admitted. I was sent to have speech, occupational, and physical therapy. When therapists or nurses began to send me up, which I don't remember who was the first one to do it, I used to always say, wait, let me ask God for strength. Let me pray. I would ask one of my CNAs to always pray for me. She was always so positive about the Lord. I had another RN that would say out loud at my door, I can do all things through Him who gives me strength.
Amen.
And that is a verse that I didn't know until I was at the hospital. After every prayer, every positive talk about God, I always felt so much better. There was a lady named Linda that would go 1 to 2 times a week and read me the word for about 30 minutes and give me a prayer. The endings of February, I was already learning to stand, to walk, finally able to have a full body shower. I sent pictures to my best friend, and because of her negative comments, I hit depression. I felt like all my progress was not good enough. When I was alone, I used to sit and cry and ask God why she said the things she did. A week after, to me, it felt like months. On March 5th was the first time I stood up. I stood without any help. I stood there and I attempted to scream across the gym with excitement to share my accomplishments with another physical therapist. Lisa, I'm standing all by myself. She yelled back, okay, well then walk. That is when I took my first steps all on my own. This is where my talks with God started much more. Feeling Him more. I remember watching my video over and over again and repeatedly say, thank you, God, every time. Fast forwarding to my life back at home. My depression was 100 times worse than what I was at the hospital. I knew my life was not my life anymore. I remember my sister being 8 months pregnant, staying up with me super late at night, trying to comfort me, trying to get me to understand that I was still alive for a reason. I used to cry nonstop, lay there and ask God why God did this to me. Ask what was it that I did for Him to make me go through all this pain. If all I ever liked to do was help others around me. I'd say to my sister every single night, why didn't He just take me with Him? Why couldn't they just let me in the car a little longer to burn and die? She'd tell me she'd pray so much and ask God to save me.
It's okay.
I love you, Naomi. Because it was meant for you to be here. That's why you're still alive. There's a reason why you're here.
Yes, it's purpose for your life.
Exactly. You're meant to be here.
When everything happened, all I could do was ask her why didn't they just let me die. That way I wouldn't have to go through all the misery and pain. Every night I would cry and say I wasn't supposed to go to the party. I wasn't supposed to go to the party. I only went so Father wouldn't be mad at me, and she doesn't even care. She doesn't even come visit. I'd go out with only one friend that I felt 100% comfortable with, and as we were out, I'd always tried to hide my weakness because I've always been the strong one in the circle. No one other than those who see me and deal with me on a daily basis, or have gone through what I have and continue to go through are the only ones who understand a bit of what I'm going through. Understand that I am no longer that strong person I was prior to my accident. I no longer have the mentality I once had. I'm emotionally sensitive, weak on strength, and have a lot of memory loss. How I felt the strength and love in my heart a million times more with God started in June 2021. I was on Instagram one day and I came across an artist I now admire and I look up to very much. It's Jackie Rivera. I know her because I've always been a big fan of her mom, Jenny Rivera, which rest in peace. A cover released on June 18th changed my path with the Lord. Highly recommend to listen to her cover, Defender. There's a part that always makes me feel the reason I'm alive. When I thought I lost me, you knew where I left me. You reintroduced me to your love. You picked up all my pieces, put me back together. You are the defender of my heart. June 13th, same week to listening to this song, I had the chance to attend Destiny 9 Christian Center, the ministry I now attend. Pastor Bill was teaching Life is a Test. On this day, I felt some work being done in my heart. God was moving things inside of me that with the words Pastor was saying. I don't remember anything he said, but I do remember how much I cried to this day during service. From this day on, I have attempted to attend every single Sunday service, Wednesday Bible study, and every Thursday celebrate recovery.
Come on now.
My 8-year-old nephew is my church buddy. He loves attending. He has been my biggest push with God. With the help of the Lord, I am here today. I am here walking. I am here to try and prove to myself and everyone around that with faith and hope, even in the lowest of your days, everything and anything is possible. I've learned that our Father is alive more than ever. I've learned that only He is the one that decides why it is we are here and why we go through all these obstacles in life. I've learned if you have a pulse, you have a purpose.
Amen.
Without the help of those who didn't give up and haven't given up on me until now, I wouldn't be here. With the help of God allowing me to step foot at the church I attend today, I would have been lost or dead. Thank you, Pastor Bill, Brett, Jess, and John for the great words you all share with us at their altar.
What an amazing story. That was her setback for her comeback.